Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tony Arenas. I am your product specialist for this video, and today in this video we're going to go over blending modes in Photoshop. So blending modes is different than blending options. Blending options gives you a lot more options with drop shadows and so forth. Blending modes allow you to take layers that you have existing and that are layered on top of each other and have them bleed through in some way, shape, or form. So with our blending modes, we're going to start off with, we have this gradient here for our bottom layer, our layer 0. And this is going to have that gradient that's going to go from white to black. So you have that nice gradient to go through. And what we're going to do is we're going to apply this color on top. And we're going to change the blending mode to allow that color to see through the whole layer from underneath. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to go to my blending mode option here. And it's right in the layers option, and it's going to be normally labeled as normal, and then you have different options here to go through. So I'm going to start off with our options here, and as I scroll through you can see the options change, and this is something they added in with 2019 where you actually will see a blending option or a blending mode bleed through with the different options you have with this through. So I can say with this multiply, I can see all of the darker colors come through from a certain point, or I can actually go with the overlay, which is going to bring in both of it, and it's going to have this white to where the 50% is. It's going to bring in all of that blue, and then it's going to go into the darker modes. So the idea here is you can change a lot of this to fix, say, to what you want it to do. You can try some different options with different things and have them layered, and it's a good way to try to mix and match with everything. You can also apply textures to this as well, to like certain faces and so forth. So play around with it. It's a good option to play around with and so forth. It's really fun when you actually combine your blending modes with your masking, and if you're able to bring in a texture in a certain way, in a certain light, you can really make things accentuate things really well. So there are other ones, of course, like I'm going to bring in this gradient here this is a red to nothing layer here, so it's going to go from red all the way to nothing, and if I apply, say, a dissolve to that, you're actually going to see how that reacts to it as well. So with the transparency, every blending option does have something going through. With dissolve, it's more or less that you're going to dissolve from a 100% color to a nothing color, and it's going to create that static effect that goes through. So you can do some really neat things with that. So again, the idea here with our blending options is to try to make things a little bit different and a little bit fun. So with this particular photo I have here, I have this person smiling with the texture on top. If I go ahead and switch that to a multiply, it will take a little bit more of the color to come through, and it brings in more of that texture together, and it makes it look more like an old-timey photo. So you have that option there. It adds the wrinkles into it. There's a whole lot going through there. So to explain all of the actual blending modes would actually be really too long for this video. I want to keep this video short. The idea here is just you have these options here. You really want to play around with it, have a good time with it, and try to experiment with your options here to make your photos more enjoyable, more popping, or more just to a feel, look and a feel to it, and so forth. So once again, my name is Tony Arenas, and this has been a quick overview on blending modes in Photoshop.